And like we showed her a video of like bridesmaids singing badly at their sister's wedding.
Yeah. Have you seen the New York Times article recently?
It's not them.
That
They just did a
incredible documentary that you are also in.
I am.
Yeah.
It's a bad week for you, girl. I will say that in the documentary. They caught me actually on my biggest flop in my entire SNL career.
Can we talk about what that was?
Oh my God. Yeah. It was this horrible duck boat sketch where who
was hosting?
Iowa Debris was hosting. The doc crew was there. They're following us.
So again, for civilians, you're going to pitch a bunch of stuff and you might not get any sketches that week.
Yeah.
Or you might get 17, not literally, but like a ton.
Yes.
So that's every single week for a writer. It's just, we're going to pitch stuff and it's either going to go all the way to air or it's going to go to dress and it's going to get cut.
It's going to go to table or it won't make it to table.
Right. Or no one's going to say, yeah, you're on this week.
So the doc crew came and the host was Iowa Debris, and I was like, oh, she's a Boston girly. I bet she'd like to do something like Boston kind of towny. And that's like, I have that
That's your bread and butter. Yeah, you got
exactly,
that.
Exactly. Like I did comedy in Boston for a decade. And so I was like, oh, maybe on a duck boat. And I really wanted to do it. But Lauren pulled me into the office and he was like, the sketch you've written is not producible.
Good Lauren.
And
producible in terms of like, we can't get the set for it. We can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
It would be really involved. But they figured it out because she really wanted to do it. And what they did is they built an entire duck boat, which is like an amphibious vehicle that can go on land and in the water.
Which props to like set, makeup, all of that. Like insane. Every single week.
They built an entire duck boat. They split it in half to put it on 2 separate green screen keys so that there could be the front of the duck boat and the back of the duck boat.
Oh my God.
I had to go on Google Maps, draw a picture of the Charles River in Boston where I wanted a film crew to go to film footage of the river and its shores to go on the green screens behind the front and the back of the duck boat. I mean...
And your sketch bombed.
It bombed. It bombed. Bombed.
Okay, do you feel guilty about that?
Yes, of course. Okay. To this day, I carry the guilt. You're like,
I made you do all of this work.
It's crazy. And are
you still proud of it though? Or do you?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm ashamed. They were right and I was wrong.
Okay.
Because I think like we all thought it was going to look shitty, but actually all the departments did an amazing job.
He's like, you didn't do anything, but the departments did their job.
No, the departments killed it. And
That's
I
so
never got
funny.
the writing there.
That's so funny.
It was terrible. And there was even a thing in the New York Times where a set designer was asked about like the most arduous set they've ever had to build. And they were like, well, one time we had built a duck boat and split it in half.
Like this fucking writer.
And so this was like my biggest flop. And it happened to be the documentary crew was there. I mean, thankfully they gave me a really light touch on the edit. I'm actually putting myself on blast way more than they did. But yeah, if you want to see more about it, you can watch the documentary. But
I don't know if I've seen I'm literally watching the duck boat sketch after we're here. I could talk to you for literally so much because I love SNL. I love comedy. This is some of my favorite stuff. Okay.
I love that you're like such an expert.
That's nice.
You know like everything.
Oh, I don't. But no, I've watched it for a really long time, especially in college. I was like, that was the thing I did with my friends. Is like, and then I watched every single sketch on YouTube, the ones that were like getting a bunch of buzz and the ones that weren't. And
who's your favorite?
Like, my favorite like cast member? Oh, God, it's like pick a favorite child. Oh God. I think Cecily Strong is so underrated.
Yeah.
Like I love Kate, but Kate got all the buzz when Cecily Strong was there. And I feel like she was just so consistent every single time.
Cecily can do anything.
Oh, and just like, especially the like Broadway chops that she has too. Like I love her. Adie Bryant is fantastic. She was at the party too. And I was like, trying to think who else. I know as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to remember like 62. I mean, Bill Hader's a classic.
Yep.
Yeah. Mine was like, I think the first episode I saw, because I was not allowed. I was like, I grew up in a pretty like, you don't watch PG-13 movies until you're 13 plus. So like the first episode of SNL I ever saw was like, oh gosh, it was a Timberlake Fallon duel episode.
Oh, uh-huh.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Around Christmas time, because I was home for the holidays, I think from my first year of college. And like I had seen, a sketch here or there. And that was the one that actually, because I like watched it live. And then that's around, where they do the Christmas, like all the Christmas. And I was like, I got super into Lonely Island. So that probably Andy Samberg is like,
The man.
oh,
The best.
I love that man so much. Like, yeah. So I got super into Lonely Island, like obsessively so, and still am.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And then again, Mulaney's huge for me, but writer, not on cast.
The best.
Yeah. And I think that was, and then I have sketch questions too. Okay. I'm not going to keep you here for 6 more hours. Okay. One last thing before I talk to you about sketches is like the writers versus cast. I think that, again, for most cast members, they're going to walk down the street, get recognized. There's something about being a writer, especially the ones that like aren't necessarily like on camera all the time or on camera at all. There is that sort of anonymity that is kind of nice. But do you also ever get bitter about it? Like you don't get to take as much credit, at least to the general public.
What's nice about being a writer is you can have as much anonymity as you'd like. You can not have a social media, and that's okay. I personally, I do have a social media because I have a podcast.
Yeah.
Petty Crimes. You should listen. So I like to take a little bit of credit because it's helpful for my career to just because I am like a writer performer. I don't ever feel bitter. Except maybe when people have the misconception that these sketches write themselves.
Yeah.
Or that I will see occasionally people commenting things like, you can totally tell that line was improvised.
Which is in a way the highest compliment, actually.
Sure, yeah.
Of like, oh, it felt so authentic and genuine. But it's also like, no, I fucking wrote that.
And maybe it means you wrote for the cast member well, so it sounded really natural or something. But I think as long as people know that they're writers, I'm good.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think your most famous sketch to date is probably Domingo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did we know that was going to be insane? Like, is there sketches where you're like, this is going to do numbers?
No, I don't always know.
Because it felt like a David Pumpkin sketch where it was like, where it was just kind of like, this is so funny and weird that, but it works so well. Maybe David Pumpkins is a little more avant-garde, but
no, I know what you're saying. I definitely did not know.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I wrote a pre-taped digital short that was like a horror movie about taking Pilates, and Kristen Wiig was in it, and I was like, I think women are going to like this.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot of people did like it. But not like Domingo. This was its own thing.
And I think it was because the sketch was so good, but then social media got a hold of it. Like TikTok got a hold of it. And that's, I think, where it was really interesting.
Sometimes there just has to be a little bit of extra secret sauce or a little bit of magic. And I think in this instance, the secret sauce was Ariana Grande singing poorly.
The bridesmaids wanted a celebration.
I mean, she's one of the best singers in the world.
And it's very good, bad singing.
It's perfect.
It's shockingly good. And as anybody who is a singer knows, that's actually really, really difficult.
And we showed her a video of bridesmaids singing badly at their sister's wedding.
Yeah. Have you seen the New York Times article recently?
It's not them.
That... I'm sorry, that's so funny. Okay, so the New York Times just did this huge write-up of I think they saw you and Jimmy in an interview. And so this bridesmaid was like, oh my God, I'm the inspiration for the sketch. And the New York Times was like, she's the inspiration for the sketch.
No.
Oh.
No, she's
Poor
too good of a
thing.
singer.
Oh, funny. Because they did Hamilton, right?
Yeah, but people are in my DMs being like, it's me. I'm the Hamilton rap that inspired Domingo.
And you're like, none of you are.
None of them are yet.
Wow. Okay.
None of them are yet because they're all too good.
That's so funny. That's so good.
Yeah, Ariana just got it.
Yeah.
She just got it.
If she wasn't Ariana Grande, she would have been the perfect SNL cast member.
Oh, God, yeah.
Her impressions are so good.
Her comedic timing.
It's very good. And then she can obviously sing her ass off. And so, yeah. Oh, okay. A sketch that you wish got more love that you were like, oh, this could be Domingo, but it was not Domingo.
Oh, like a sketch that I wrote?
Yeah. Or that you didn't write, but you were like, this, put some respect on the name of this sketch.
Oh, that's a good question. A sketch that I was a part of, this sketch called Actor's Journey with Adam Driver. It was cut for time, but SNL put it on YouTube. And it's like an actor's talk back series, and the actor is kind of giving that classic actor spiel. It's Andrew Dismuke saying, when I first started in this industry, I lived in this crappy apartment.
The cockroach apartment.
And yeah, and there were cockroaches, and I stuck with it, and I made it happen. And then Adam Driver stands up in the audience and is like, yeah, that crappy apartment you're talking about? That's my apartment. I'm the landlord. So thanks a lot for talking crap. And then like basically like takes over. And it's just like an accelerating game of like Andrew inadvertently mentioning somebody from his past and then cutting the audience, and that
It's
person
almost like
is there.
Slumdog Millionaire.
It's like, yeah. And it's just a very dumb sketch, but I think it's
funny.
I think it's cute. And Adam Driver's really, really good in it.
Yeah.
Oh, when Alex English and Gary Richardson and Michael Che wrote Lisa, and Ego Wodum wrote Lisa from Temecula, which is where Ego does this bit where she's cutting a really tough steak and the entire table is shaking. When Ego
didn't the fork break?
Everything broke.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And there was this guy.
And she didn't break, if I remember. She was the one, or maybe a little bit.
She mostly didn't.
Yeah.
But I mean,
she was the only thing at that table that didn't break.
Yes. When she did that sketch for At Table Read with a steak, it crushed so hard. And the bit is so simple.
Right.
Cutting a tough steak.
Right.
The whole table's shaking.
Yep.
There's a guy, there's like different departments that make different things. There's a monkey boy, that's what they're called, under the table, shaking the table with his back. And when she did it for the first time at Table Read, I remember thinking like, damn, I wish I wrote that. Because it was that good and that simple and that perfect.
Yep.
Like, I think that those are the kind of sketches that get me really excited. Like, wow, it was that simple and you found it.
It reminds me of the Bill Hader plays an old guy in like a hover round, and then Cecily Strong's on his lap.
Yes.
And of course, I don't think this was supposed to happen, but they just completely like knock the set over. And again, Cecily Strong, who never breaks, is like barely holding it together.
Yes.
And she's like, and just, it's so funny.
Yeah.
But they're doing nothing.
Yes.
They're doing nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.